Right now, we'll start with a question from Danielle Lerner of the Houston Chronicle.
Mike, when you saw that you're going to be facing Lynn in the bracket, just what were your thoughts on that and being so familiar with her?
Just really happy for her because we talk early and often about lots of things, basketball and non-basketball related. We've been friends for a long time. So excited that they were in, not necessarily excited that we have to play each other. I don't like playing people I consider friends. But I'm happy that one of us is going to advance to the second round. I know that for a fact. I've watched them a lot this year. They are fun to watch, the way they put things together. I'm friends with Gavin, their associate head coach as well. And, they've got an Arkansas girl on their team. So followed Utah. They're always up on late when I get home. So we've watched a lot of them. But I don't like playing people I talk to on the phone during the year. It's a challenge because you're happy and you're proud for them. At the same time, you're trying to win. So I don't lie about it and tell you it's just any other game. It's not. It's different when you're playing a friend. So, but I'm very happy for her because I know how hard it is to do what she did at Utah. In the Pac-12, it's hard to catch anybody, much less catch enough people to make it to the finals of that tournament. That is such a hard thing to do in that league and with the success that they've had to get to where they got, the way they got. A young team. She embraced roster management, very similar fashion that we did, play our young kids, build for the future, and try to be the best you can be at this year too. So I'm really happy for them that it worked out the way it did. And they've faced adversity. They lose a player that's very integral to them late in the year, and they've just kept rolling and kept going. So I admire what they do. And they've been fun to watch more and more on video, but it doesn't make it any more fun.
She also talked about how she really revamped their style of play before this season by diving into analytics and also kind of crowdsourcing some advice from other Pac-12 coaches. But I wonder, you guys have such similar philosophies. Obviously, you talk a lot. Did she, ask you for any input on that? And what do you think of the ways that they've changed?
She never called and asked for anything specific, but there's times in the past that we've talked about to get to that next level. Your offense has to be good. And it has to be diverse. And she uses analytics a lot. And I think it is, I do too. And I do think in our similar situations, us at Arkansas, trying to catch a lot of people when we got there, we had to be very mindful of every piece of information that's available. Whether you use it or not, it's up to you. And then whether or not you impart it to your kids that I had sitting to my right is really up to us, which we don't do a lot of. But I'd like to have every piece of information possible at my disposal to make decisions. And you can see in the way that they've played this year, the shot selection has improved. Their shot distribution is right down where it should be. Best players getting the most shots in the right spots. So whether or not she talked about it or said it, if you watch her teams, that's being done. You can tell teams that use analytics and build around analytics versus teams that don't. And they're obviously using them and building around them, recruiting to it. And again, I don't know how much longer it's going to last because I think eventually everybody will get there. But I quite frankly think that's one of the reasons they've caught and passed some people. Because I think people have been stubborn and just buried their head in the sand, and maybe because they don't believe in them or understand them for whatever reason, they don't use them as a tool. And I think it allows people like us to catch some people maybe when you don't think that we're supposed to be.
Next question will come from Danny Davis of the Austin American-Statesman. Danny?
First, I'm kind of curious about where this great meal was that y'all.
We went to Papados.
So
You kidding? I know Vince Young's got a restaurant here, and I looked at it, but our kids, they hear Papados, man, their ears perked up. So we killed it out there. We had that place. We just bring us one of everything, and we'll figure out who eats what. But yeah, but our kids are very they're social. They like to be together. That question when they asked about what it was like, they took care of me pretty good because they did everything right. I screwed last year up for the NCAA tournament. We traveled day of game all the way through the year for the last 2 years. Then we get down here and we have to stay in a hotel for 7 days. We went stir crazy. We literally were unprepared to play a basketball game. And, you know, you use the term upset in the 4-13. And we weren't on our home floor. I don't look at it. Wright State was a good team. Maybe it was an upset with Las Vegas or whatever, but we were all in the same playing field. And I did a really poor job of having our team prepared to play last time. We hadn't stayed in a hotel all year long because we flew in and out day of game to be able to play, to follow the protocols as stringently as we possibly could. And then we got down here and we were ready to go home. We were ready to go home before we ever picked a ball up, and we played like it. So that was, like I said, they're nice enough not to throw that back at me, but I screwed it up for them and for our team last year. But we didn't make that mistake this year. We were a little bit better prepared. But nonetheless, the experience is starting to, you're starting to see little things. We still haven't seen the whole package yet on how different it is, but you can tell there's been changes made in the positive manner.
Kind of going off that, I don't know if freeing is the correct word, but is it better to have kind of a group that doesn't know what this March Madness is about, or would you prefer to kind of go into this month with a veteran?
No, I like the prior. I like them not having blissful naivety or, whatever, however you want to put it. I told Amber and Mac and then the 3 other players that we had that have experienced it, not to tell too many stories of what it was like. Don't get in here and go, oh, well, y'all didn't have to, the woe is me. Y'all didn't have to walk uphill both ways to school in the snow like I did mentality. Let these guys experience it and enjoy it. So I'm glad we got a lot of bright-eyed freshmen, first-year freshmen that don't know, that are just here to experience it for the first time. And they'll just hear the stories and we'll never have to live those experiences. But, I want them to tell some things, but not all the stuff.
Next question, Coach, will come from Jim Vertuno
Yep.
of AP.
Talking about freshmen, you've got the conference freshman of the year facing in the conference freshman of the year.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you see in that matchup and what those 2 players bring to this game, yours and theirs.
Yeah, they may end up guarding each other some. I obviously don't know who Lynn will put Nepkins on, but Sam will have her and McQueen both a little bit. So I think it's a product of both of us playing young kids. The SEC was a really old league. I don't know if you looked at the depth, but you had a lot of 6th and 5 and 6 year kids on lots of rosters. I don't know as much about the Pac-12, but the SEC was a very old league. So Sam came in when the opportunity presented itself to get a lot of playing time, and then played very, very well against the best players, in our conference. Some of those being 5 and 6 year seniors. And I know Gina did the same thing for Utah. When you watch it, you can tell that, they're not freshmen anymore. Once they get past that 300-minute mark, they're no longer freshmen. And I think what they mentioned about Sam when they were talking about just the confidence that those 2 players play with, it oozes. You don't have to evaluate that very hard. You can tell the coaches have trust in them, their teammates have trust in them, and then they have the ultimate confidence in themselves. So it's going to be fun to see that. I love the fact that the NCAA put us against Utah as far as matchups wise. I hate it that it's Lynn, but I love that we got 2 styles of play that are going to be match up. It's not going to be this contrasting deal. It's going to be, all right. I mean, I would send our scout to her right now and she'd probably send us their scout. Just save each other a lot of hassle. This is what we're going to do. Best of luck stopping it. Let's get out there and see who does it best. So I think it makes for a really fun matchup. I honestly think they're better than a 7 seed. I think they could have made a case. Their net was really, really high. They've got quality wins. I thought they were probably going to be a 6 seed. I will tell you, they were not even a team that I had on our radar as a potential matchup. We had film pulled on lots of people, but I thought they would be higher, a 6 seed. And I just didn't think would drop to an 11. But I didn't anticipate them being a matchup, but it's going to be a fun one. She said it in a podcast I listened to on the way over here. It could look like a track meet at times. And I already told Vic to get the paint out ready for they may have to repaint the rims between our games if we don't either one shoot it well, because it's we are definitely going to shoot them. That's for sure.
Before we turn, Coach, to some questions from our virtual media members, anything else from anyone assembled here in Austin? If not, we have a few more minutes for questions for Coach Neighbors. Right now, I see one person with their raised hand. If anyone else on the virtual platform would like to ask Coach Neighbors a question or two, please raise your hand now. We're going to turn to Porter Hayes of Sports and Culture.
Coach, first question, I'll kind of ask you what I've asked the players, just the mindset. How's it been going down there preparing, knowing that you're not cooped up, you're able to go around and have a free practice and go out and have a meal with the kids, and different vibe of last year?
Enjoyable. Just to see them laugh, to see them smile. You know, we've got I've actually got 3 of my 4 kids here. My oldest, Abby, and then the 2 young boys, just them out there watching Sailor and Amber and Bowen throwing rocks, you know, at the fish at Papa Do's out there. That's not what we were supposed to be doing. I think that's what he was doing. Just their interaction. And, you know, last year you just felt like that, I don't know, hall monitor. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't go there. Don't be that. Don't get back in there. And we were hall monitors standing out there. And so like, they're such good kids. They're like, Coach, do you care if I go talk to my mom at their hotel? Yeah, go. You know, and it's fun to be able to say yes for a change after being a hall monitor for a couple of years. And you can't, no. It's yes. Don't even ask me anymore. Just go. Tell me what time you'll be back. You've earned my trust. Go do it. So, Porter, it's night and day difference. I think it makes me a little sad for Chelsea. It makes me a little sad for Mal and those kids, and the kids, you know, that couldn't experience being in the tournament in 2019 that we had qualified for at all, and then having to experience it the way we did. It breaks my heart a little bit for that group of kids, but I'm glad this group of kids has got to experience it.
And I'll follow up with, you're talking about the 2 that, you know, have experienced the tournament, but yet this is the first time that they're all getting to experience this type of tournament. So it's almost like they're all freshmen again as well.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, you can tell a difference in them. You can see it in their eyes. You can hear it in their voices. You can see the way they are smiling about it. Last year, it didn't feel like a reward for hard work. You know, it felt like, okay, this is just a continuation of more of this. And we've said we want to play, so we have to play. So let's do whatever it takes to go get tested and walk back and forth and sit around and wait for your results, and then find out if you can play and find out if you got to take a false positives. And to be able to do that for this group is very, very satisfying. And I'm glad that we got back in this thing. It would have been a hard, long summer if we hadn't put together a schedule and played a schedule and then won enough games to get back here. That would have been a really hard thing to have to look Amber in the eye and tell her she's not going to get a chance to experience it. So I think about the kids that haven't, but I'm happy for the kids that are.
And I'll finish up with Amber, you know, getting to play in Austin, you know, right there in Texas, you know, her final year. How much does that mean to you and for her to be able to, you know, go out in Texas?
Well, we tried really, really hard to get her back down here to play home games during the regular season. We just couldn't find any takers. So it's good that we got her back here again for the tournament. When she saw that draw come, we were in the last bracket. So she was like, where are we going to go? I said, well, we're probably going to Texas. I just kind of looked at, she just saw this, you know, this smile come across her face. And then when the announcement came, it was genuine, you know, it was genuine excitement. Seeing her family being able to come back here and not be, she struggled to see, you know, she only had so many people that could get on the pass list last year. And now she's, you know, doesn't have that issue, and is all the people and family and friends and teammates that are still down here make the short drive over from San Antonio to get a chance to see her, hopefully a couple more times.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for those questions, Porter. Any other questions for Coach? If not, we're going to thank you for your time.
got it.
Wish you
Thank
the
y'all.
best of luck
Appreciate
tomorrow.
y'all covering.
Thank you. Thank
got
you,
it.
Coach.